Donald Trump is this outsider candidate. He's a political neophyte. I was a political neophyte. I was young. Maybe he thought he could change my coverage, make it more favorable to him. Maybe he thought he could intimidate me. Donald Trump is unlike any candidate we've ever seen. I'm not sure we'll ever see a candidate like this again. And everybody in Washington counted him out immediately. The headlines were so severe. Donald Trump is running for president, and it's going to be hilarious. I was the very first one there taking the campaign seriously at a time when there were headlines that said, Donald Trump is running for president. It's going to be so hilarious. And because I didn't have those preconceived notions, he was very charming. And when he realized that his charm wasn't going to change my reporting, what I did every day, though, Matt, and you saw this, was go out and try and honestly report on what was happening and hold him accountable for the things that he said.
You said you kept a diary. I would love to go back and read the entry in the diary on that day that he called you little Katy and you were dishonest.
Just thinking to be in a giant room at one of his rallies and have him single you out.
About what a lie it was from NBC. She's back there, little Katy. She's back there. What a lie it was. What a lie it was from NBC to have written that. It was a total lie. Third-rate reporter. Remember that, third-rate. Third-rate.
It was jarring, it was scary, and it was one of those feelings that I don't think I'll ever be able to shake. If he knew anything about me, anything at all, one quick Google search, you'd find out that it's not easy to intimidate me.
To be in a giant room at one of his rallies and have him single you out and have the whole room boo you, how does that feel?
It feels a little bit like this right now.
Yeah.
Really weird
right.
and uncomfortable. It's not easy to intimidate me. I don't get intimidated. This is terrifying. This is intimidating
to me. It will only get worse.
You'd find out that it's not easy to intimidate me. I don't get intimidated. I think he walked into it thinking that it was going to be a different sort of interview, that it would be much fluffier. Maybe he thought it would be more of an entertainment style interview, which is I think probably what he was accustomed to coming from, I guess, from NBC. Who knows? I'm not sure what he thought, but I know that when I sat down and I had my research in front of me, few statistics that contradicted what he was claiming about immigration and crime. He didn't want to hear it. The murder rate in El Paso, Texas, which is right on the border, is the lowest murder rate for any of the big cities in the country.
Don't try and convince me that there's no crime, that it's wonderful. The people that are being forced in, and these aren't just Mexican people, the people that are being forced, Mexico doesn't want people, they're forcing them into our country, and we're taking them and we're putting them in our jails and our hospitals, and we're paying them money through different sources. It's a disgrace.
I mean, the second it got out of my mouth, he told me I was naive, and he tried to knock me off my game. And I remember thinking, this is just Donald Trump. It's part of his act. It's part of who he is.
Don't tell me about safety. Are you trying to justify safety at the border? I don't think so.
We have a lower incarceration rate for Mexican immigrants and illegal immigrants than we do for any U.S. born citizens.
It's a wrong statistic. Go check your numbers. It's totally wrong. It sounds good. It sounds good. It's a wrong statistic. Check your numbers.
Don't worry about it. Just smile, and you can see in my face in that entire interview, I'm smiling the entire time, and he is not. He is very tense and very angry.
Right.
Immigration is down. Why is this such a big topic for you right now?
Well, immigration's a very big topic. Take a look at all the crime that's being committed. Go take a look at it.
The research says the crime does not match what you're saying. The research, the Pew Research, which is independent, says.
Don't be naive. You're a very naive person.
He got me to stumble a couple of times, and I remember I closed my eyes, I kept smiling, and then I continued. I didn't think anything of it. The Pew Research says that there are, for immigrants on the whole,
Come on, try getting it out. Try getting it out.
I'll get it out.
I mean, I don't know if you're going to put this on television, but you don't even know what you're talking about. Try getting it out. Go ahead.
Immigrants commit less crime than U.S. born citizens. Okay. There are less immigrants in our jails than...
You know what? Number one, I disagree with it. Number two, whether it's true or not, illegal immigrants. I'm talking about illegal immigrants. I'm not talking about immigrants. I'm talking about illegal.
Illegal
I'm talking
immigrants
about
commit less
illegal.
crime
I'm
other
talking-
than coming through illegally.
I'm talking about illegal immigrants are causing tremendous crime, and nobody wants to talk about it.
And when the interview was over, I got up to shake his hand, presuming that we were good, everything was copacetic, and that he would go on his way and I would go on mine. And instead, he starts berating me.
We want to make America great again. We have a last shot. If we keep going the way it's going, America is going to be permanently scarred. Thank you.
And when the interview was over, I got up to shake his hand, presuming that we were good, everything was copacetic. And instead, he starts berating me.
Great honor. Okay.
I covered him for 500 days. 500 days of being on the road and having to not only try and understand what he was saying some of the time, but also hold up facts. He did not tell the truth on the campaign. Yeah, so I get in a car, I drive to New Hampshire from New York. Donald Trump's holding a rally around a backyard pool. It's like not these 10,000 person rallies that we got used to. It was a couple hundred people around a backyard pool at a private home, and he's just riffing. He's kind of testing out the lines that became so well known and so popular later on in the campaign. This guy's rambling on about the standing ovations he gets, and he's talking about rapists coming across the border. Okay, I'll tweet what he's saying. I mean, I'm just taking notes. And suddenly I hear my name, and he is calling me out from the stage. The very first time I'd ever shared the same oxygen as Donald Trump.
Then I do a show called The Apprentice.
Yay!
And it was a tremendous success. In fact, so successful that NBC was really angry when I said I'm running for president. They didn't want, they renewed. I see Katy's in the audience. They renewed The Apprentice.
He's using me as his representation of why the media is unfair, is biased, and shouldn't be trusted.
Here's my only problem. When television, these people, Katy hasn't even looked up once at me. When the level of hatred is incredible. But when these people, I hope so. But when these people, I think you do a good job, by the way, Katy. But when these people reported it, they left out the second half.
And what did he say? Is that when he called you Little Katy for the first time?
No, that was a little bit later on. No, he said, Katy, you haven't even looked up at me once. Basically, Katy, you're not paying attention to me.
Here's my only problem. When television, these people, Katy hasn't even looked up once at me. When the level of hatred is incredible. But when these people, I hope so.
He knew I was there. He knew that NBC had assigned me full time to the campaign. So it gave him a sense, I presume, a sense of status. Because if NBC News is assigning you a full-time correspondent for your presidential campaign, that does mean that we are taking you seriously.
Right. And then when was the first time he called you Little Katy? When was that?
Little Katy was the day of the Muslim ban, the day that he announced that he wanted to close America's doors to everybody.
And what happened there?
Of the Muslim religion. And Donald Trump, in order to be the most hardline and to be the guy that will keep you safe, comes out with this Muslim ban.
We put out a statement today. We watched this, and it's impossible to watch this gross incompetence that I watched last night. And we put out a statement a little while ago, and these people are going crazy. They won't report it properly. Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on. We have no choice. We have no choice.
And he said, essentially, the media is complicit in this because they're not reporting it. So we aren't keeping you safe. We, the media, reporters that are standing in this press pen, in the belly of a warship where Donald Trump is holding a rally in South Carolina, these are the people who are not keeping you safe. And from the stage, everybody is riled up. They're whipped up into a frenzy. It's a cliche, but it feels like a tinderbox, and you're just waiting for someone to light a match. And Donald Trump calls me out. He says, Little Katy, Katy Tur, she's back there. and he points me out. And the entire room, thousands of people, turn around and boo at me at once.
I had one the other day where I finished the speech and they said, oh, Trump was interrupted and he left early. Like, I spoke like for 45, 50 minutes. I then answered questions, and then I went around and did, everybody knew it was false. Amazingly, there's a media group that calls the media. And the next day they did the most beautiful story about what a lie it was from NBC. She's back there, little Katy, she's back there.
And he's saying, little Katy, she's back there. Not just Katy Tur's a liar. Katy Tur, she's back there, pointed at me. And the whole place was just alive with anger.
What a lie it was. No, what a lie, Katy Tur. What a lie it was from NBC to have written that.
Katy Tur, she's back there, little Katy, third-rate, dishonest reporter. God, I know it by heart.
So we go to the rally, and this is in the belly of a old World War II warship. And it's right outside of Charleston, South Carolina, a bunch of vets. This place is more crowded than usual. We're slammed up against a wall, but we're still in the middle of the room. We're surrounded on all sides. There's really no way to get out. And Donald Trump takes the stage, and he takes a long route to get into the Muslim ban, talks about his poll numbers. She always started with, no matter the occasion.
Thank you. We start by paying our great respects to Pearl Harbor. We don't want that stuff. We don't want World Trade Centers. We don't want that ever happening to us again. It's not going to happen to us.
And talks about his poll numbers, which she always started with, no matter the occasion.
So I want to thank everybody for being here. This is a great honor. There are thousands of people outside. And sometimes I'll say, would you like to wait about an hour till they all come in? But we can't get them in anyway, so what difference? We all got lucky. We're together tonight. Thank you.
He was angry at me about a tweet I sent a couple days earlier.
What a lie it was from NBC. She's back there, little Katy, she's back there. What a lie it was. No, what a lie, Katy Tur.
He was angry at me about a tweet I sent a couple days earlier. And he sent off these tweets saying that I should get fired, Soap and Deb as well. And, I mean, the waves of insults.
When the 10th protester interrupted him, he abruptly stopped his speech for him. It was not like his usual speeches, and walked away from the mic.
Saying for the last 3 weeks, because I've really gotten to know the people, we are going to make our country great again, greater than ever before. I love you. Thank you very much. We're going to make it greater than ever before.
He abruptly stopped his speech, walked away from the mic.
Before. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
He abruptly stopped his speech, walked away from the mic.
That's bullshit, shit, that's bullshit, shit, that's bullshit, shit, that's bullshit, I hear you talking that bullshit, girl, you too walking that bullshit, you out of line with the bullshit, ain't got the time for the bullshit, break it down, fellas, bullshit.
And I tweeted about it. Rachel Maddow picked it up a little bit later, and the campaign was furious.
Donald Trump at this speech tonight in Raleigh, North Carolina, was interrupted by different protesters 10 separate times in this speech. There was an NBC reporter in the room who counted them. That said, all reporters are dishonest. At the end of the 10th interruption, Mr. Trump ended his speech and walked off the stage.
And the campaign was furious. They didn't like this idea that protesters would force Donald Trump from the stage. And they took issue with the word abruptly. And I took issue with their taking issue because at that point I'd been to more Trump rallies than I could count. And I knew how he ends a rally with a crescendo towards let's make America great again. This did not happen.
We are going to make our country great again, greater than ever before. I love you. Thank you very much.
And I knew how he ends a rally with a crescendo towards let's make America great again.
We are going to make our country great again, greater than ever before.
This did not happen. I got an email from Hope Hicks the next day saying, Mr. Trump found your tweet to be disgraceful.
The media is not trying to elect anybody or unelect anybody. That's not our role. Our role is to tell you what is going on. We reported.
We're not here to tell people how to vote.
No, we're not going to.
People forget this about journalists. You were not there to tell anybody how to vote.
No, and I'm not there to convince anybody to vote a certain way. I'm there to, and you're there, and journalists are there to tell you what is happening and what we see, and to put it in context.
MSNBC host Katy speculating that Pennsylvania Senator-elect John Fetterman could run for president someday. Listen to this.
Fetterman as a nominee at some point for president. I know there's some variables, obviously, just a few. But I just, what he did in the super red, deep red parts of Pennsylvania, and the way that he ran ahead of Biden, as you were saying, ran ahead of Trump. I mean, it just makes you wonder about his future.
Two questions, Beverly. One, what the? And two, doesn't this prove that Democrats will literally overlook anything in their quest for power, including the mental capacity of their candidates, first with Joe Biden, and second with potentially John Fetterman?
Listen, the media is not trying to elect anybody or unelect anybody. So if the fact-checking only makes his base stronger, that's on his base.
Can't believe all that bullshit, all that bullshit, that bullshit. You're way out of line with the bullshit, all that bullshit, that bullshit, bullshit. Get the stepping girl, get the stepping girl. 'Cause I'm happy now, I'm happy now. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit.